Good day, everyone. Welcome to Book Date with You, the place where we recommend the best book to you. Today is episode 90, and we are going to talk about this book again, Step In. And this is a compilation of many great Asia women stories. And today's session, we have our special guest, Siew Yean, with us. And today's session is especially catered for Mother's Day celebration. And you will know why we say that. And we are very honored to have Siew Yean with us. And she is one of the book authors. And I'll just give a very brief, introduction of Siew Yean. She graduated from NUS, National University of Singapore, in business administrations, majoring in marketing. But I think her working experience is more on IT sectors and with many prominent position in multinational companies. And of course, now she is an accomplished mother, I would say. And welcome, Siew Yean.
Welcome,
Thank
Siew
you.
Yean.
Hello.
It's like reading from your article in this book is so wonderful. And because of the Mother's Day, it triggered me to have your article shared and get you on board here to be our special guest this time to talk about a mother's dilemma. The article that you wrote here is this one. And I want to quote one of the quote that you write. The sentences in the article is, I was very much a no-nonsense kind of person, and kids just didn't feature in my grand plan of things even after I got married. My husband, on the other hand, loved children and wanted to have a football team. So it took several years into my marriage to finally convince me to have children, and even then, it was only after a fair bit of negotiation. Siew Yean, can you bring us back to the time how the impossible turned out to be the possible?
Okay, I would say that there's no certainty in life, in the sense that when you're in a different stage of life, sometimes your decision may change according to the different stage of life. So anyway, change is a constant, right? So-called, yeah. So actually, the reason why I decided to so-called have children was it's very much was actually advised from one of my husband's auntie, and I call her Auntie Doris. So she actually said something to me that as a couple you need something to bind one another together, and it is something in blood, in the sense that there's no other possibility of things being broken down in that way. Like, for example, I mean, as a couple, you may actually, you share a house, you share a car with two person joining name, So you say that, okay, I'm a couple. But these are all materialistic things, in the sense that you can actually break it up, or also call you take it away, one person name, and that car or the house will belong to the other person, that kind of thing. But then as a children, it's very different. It's a blood and flesh, whereby their DNA is in them. There's no way that after a child is born, I want to take back my DNA, you see. so this is something that that it kind of triggered me, that that will actually very much keep a so-called a couple bonding together as well. So that actually triggered me to make a change in the decision. But of course, I didn't have a football team. I only have one girl and one boy, which is sufficient enough. And I think it's a wonderful gift from God that I have a 好字, right?
Yeah, if anyone that know Mandarin, the character of this 好 means good, and is actually comprised of the word one girl and one boy. That's how the 好字comes along. All right. So, Gideon, you want to proceed with the...
Yeah, I want to know more, maybe from the basic, what is the mental preparations that, Siew Yean, you would suggest for women to have from being a high positions career in company, which I know you have, to zero income housewife or mother first. I know later on you become an entrepreneur, but how do we prepare this inside our head?
I think it really takes time, because personally for me, it took me 2 years 2 full years to actually come to the decision that finally I think I will quit my job and focus on my children. So I think there's a few points that that we need to consider, like in terms of mental preparation, because it is very, very important. So I think one of the thing for me, even along the way, was that you have to stay focused in your own goal, because there were so many times that even after I quit, there were times whereby you have this urge, like, oh, maybe I want to still go back to the company to work. Maybe the life there is still much better, because especially when you get very upset about the kids or something, but then you have to really stay focused in your own goal as to why you quit in the first place. You have to stay very firm in your own goal, because there were so many times, yes, there's a lot of so-called things that kind of try to divert away your attention. It's like people come and tell me, hey, why don't we go into network marketing? Then you can go out at night to source for income, all those things, But then I tell myself, no. What's the purpose of me quitting the job? Is to focus on my children. So I will always place them as my priority, whatever decision I have to make along the way. So that's one thing. So you must stay focused on your own goal. What's the purpose in the first place that you want to quit? And second thing is that you have to know that once you actually quit from the job and stay home at home, there's a lack of so-called mental stimulation because it's like when you go out to work day in, day out, you're interacting with people, your mind is being challenged. You have a lot of issues, a lot of problems that you need to resolve, along the way on a daily basis. But those things will kind of naturally go away once you stay at home. You're only looking at the children every day, and you only talk children language. And there's no one at home except your children, So it's like it's a very, very different environment. So you need to have be prepared mentally to a certain extent. So what my suggestion would be is that you have to continue to take lifelong learning as another purpose, in the sense that you have to continue to learn. You cannot just say that, okay, I'll just be at home, focus on my children, but then you've forgotten about learning. So with internet era right now going on, I think it's very easy for us to learn. You just turn on the computer. Even if you take half an hour or 1 hour to go through some courses, or you can even learn from YouTube, anything that actually helps in so-called stimulate your mental capacity, so-called. Yeah, so continue to have your lifelong learning, even no doubt you're staying at home. And the other thing is that you need to be prepared financially for yourself, okay? Because frankly speaking, I mean, in the real life, sometimes I don't know how each couple and each family works, but I do believe that sometimes the financial aspect do have do actually keep a family so-called power and balance. Because I do see that some ladies, whereby they have zero savings, zero income, and it made them feel very inferior that they have to depend on the husband throughout their life or anything. And even when they're faced with challenges in the family or something, they will actually have to keep themselves make them feel small, that kind of thing. So no matter how, before you even quit the job, make sure that you have some savings and financially independent, because that will actually help you to feel empowered in certain decisions that you have to make. Like maybe you want to sign up a course that costs $100, $1,000. Well, at least you don't actually have to ask from the husband, or you have to take it out from the household budget or something like that. So that is quite important. So just save. Even though you're in a small position or a high position. In a high position, probably you're at an advantage because maybe you can save more. But saving is very important to make sure that you have your own savings. And the other mental preparation is that you have to be prepared that there's a potential so-called discrimination. Okay, discrimination in the sense that a lot of housewives, people may perceive them as no economic value. It's like, when I go, after I quit my job, when I go go out to the banks or wherever, or when I meet up people, and then when people ask you to fill in form or whatever, I say I'm a housewife or I'm a homemaker. People just look at you, oh, okay. So sometimes you can sense that being a working professional holding a high position whereby you just deep dive into a house, or whereby people look at you like, oh, you got no economic value, but you cannot let this kind of thing affect your ego or on how one look at you. But of course, this is on a situation by situation basis lah. So at the same time, you have to be prepared to so-called lose your power, your title, and your identity as a professional. So which I find that it's not so bad after all, because it's just different phases of life lah. I mean, even when people after they quit from the job, they retire, you go back to the same thing. So it's just different phases of life. So you just have to be mentally prepared for all these things lah. Yeah.
Wow. Only mental preparation, there's a lot of things that we can prepare from here as well.
Yes.
Talk about this discrimination, right? And I do see some women, they feel small when they are in as a house, like a stay-at-home mom. Because I have a conversation with a few women that when I ask about what they do, and they say I'm a homemaker, and they feel like they are actually very small, means that they feel like they are there is no contribution, which I feel like there is so many contribution they can do at home. And I think this session is such a great time to really help the mother open their mind, thinking that even there as a housewife, homemaker, stay-at-home mom, whatever title you want to give to yourself, you actually contribute a lot, right? So don't look at ourselves as so small first. We actually have to expand our mind so that we can see ourselves bigger. So,
maybe can I just add on here?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about housewife, homemaker, whatever title you give yourself, in fact, when I hand in my resignation with the previous company, and then some colleague of mine was actually asking me, they said, also, where are you going to the next job? Because they didn't know that I actually quit and then just wanted to become a full-time mother, So I kind of teased them. I told them, I'm going to be the Minister of Home Affairs. Some of them believe it. They say, oh, that's good. I said, okay. Well, you can actually give yourself that kind of title, right?
Yes. No one actually can query, right? Yeah, such a good response that you can give to them. Yeah. So, yeah, we actually want to follow up with this one. A question about, I think you didn't want to ask you about this one.
Yeah, because I want to ask maybe next phase of life. I know after you become a full-time housewife, you also do something like become an entrepreneur. So and Siew Yean, as I think you as a foreign wife, at least to Malaysia, like maybe you have more challenge, to be like to be a mother to a son and a daughter, but you will feel that you don't have much support system. So maybe what would your advice to those listening now who want to maintain their career or do something while still able to like take care of their children?
Okay, I would say that this is actually, in fact, it's quite a challenge, because I don't think it's only people who hold a career that need a support system. Even I think as a housewife, a full-time housewife, you also need a support system, because it's like there's a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. It's truly a village to raise a child. So I think regardless of whether one is holding a career full-time or one is a housewife, you still need to build a support system around you, because it's like, okay, at least when you're working in the corporate world, when you fall sick, you say, okay, I need to take MC today, so you can rest at home, right? But being a mother, there's no such thing as MC one, It's 365 days, 24 hours job. Yeah, so it's like even when you fall sick, you can't say that, hey, sorry, today I want to rest at home. I cannot take care of the children. There's no such things, So you truly need to garner support in whatever way, from friends, from neighbors, from your own family, or even you have to recruit people. You have to do it. So it's like you have to see where are the places that you can fill the gap and put the support in place, so that you really have to get this in place regardless of the situation you're in. Even though I mean, if you're a local, probably yes, you have a blessing in the sense that maybe you have more families, members who can actually chip in to help. But then it doesn't mean that every family also can chip in to help. So that's why my advice would be expand your support system as wide as you can, because this is really crucial. And the decision as to whether you want to quit your career to become a full-time mom or housewife, I think it's a very individual decision.
Yeah.
And I won't say that there's a right or wrong in the sense that, because I do actually ask a few people, before I quit, I kind of ask them, why do you stay on, because I feel like quitting, but I see that there are people who stay on and then they just get on with their life. And these are the people, I don't know, so far, I can only remember two who actually quoted me. One is that because she says she can't see her bank account, no income coming in per month, right? So, well, that is her personal priority. And then, I mean, there are some people who tell me, oh, I want to be financially independent from my husband. I want to make sure that I'm able to earn an income myself. So these are people whereby, yes, they place their financial independence as a priority, but that is their so-called their goals, their personal belief. And so I think time has changed, right? Because I think in the past, everybody actually relate working full-time is the only mean to have your financial independence, or that's where you earn an income. But I think time has changed, because even as a housewife, you call yourself a housewife, a homemaker, whatever, or minister of home affair, because time has changed that in such a way that you can actually generate passive income, online, any means. You can even work from home, So the era has really changed so much versus what it used to be during my time more than 10 years ago. So I think women should ride on this opportunity, because leverage on technology, so-called, right? And this is also another support system to a certain aspect, right? Yeah, that allow you to work from home, work remotely, or generate passive income for yourself, or build a company, or do your own business through the online world, all this. So there's a lot of opportunity. So again, we have to have a broader mindset that when we talk about support system, it's not only the support system in taking care of your child, but the system support in terms of how you launch into your second career or your business, or how you generate your passive income, all this thing. Yeah.
Siew Yean, this actually get me a question to ask you is, if those people that have no idea what kind of the career that they can go into, if they are thinking like, okay, I'm taking care of my children right now and I want to launch something, how they going to find what to go with? Meaning that they was, okay, let's maybe can do something online or something offline. How? Any advice from you is that how to find, can you help them to open up a little bit of their minds that how they can find which path they should go to? Like there's so many things around the world right now. Where to go?
Yeah, precisely. I think that's the time whereby first of all, the focus, as well as you need to know where's your strength. Because again, I go back to the focus. It's like along the way when I was trying to do a lot of things, then there are people who come to tell you, right, hey, come join me, do network marketing, that kind of thing, because it's such a lucrative business, they keep saying. But to me, it's at the end of the day, saying, no, I don't want to so-called shift my focus, because focus is very important. But I think I do agree that probably in the initial stage, people might feel a bit lost. So I think one of the good so-called framework that probably I might suggest is that you look at where's your strength and weaknesses, where's the opportunity. Opportunity first, you look around, and right now with computers and internet, you don't actually have to go and slot under the sun or walk around in the market. You can actually do a lot of research online. So you just focus, you just look around. I would say that doing something that is related to your background and industry, it does help. Because personally for me, is that I've been in the IT industry for 10 over years before I quit. So I more or less kind of know a little bit, but of course I may not actually have the time to really deep dive into it. So that gives me an so-called an advantage. So you have to look at your they call it the SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, right? Yeah, so I think this could be a good framework that you can actually apply for yourself, and then you take a look. And then, but don't limit yourself into just one thing. Probably you can explore something, deep dive into it, and then along the way, keep an open mind that as long as it's something of your interest to you, and after you have gone through this analysis, and you think that, yeah, that's something that you might want to embark on, just go ahead. Give it a try, because you never try, you never know. When you give yourself a chance to try, at least you tell yourself you have given yourself a chance to try. And along the way, definitely you're going to have some learning. It's a hands-on learning experience. So from there, again, it gives you the mental stimulation, it gives you a lifelong learning experience again that you can take on with you, and an additional knowledge that no one can take away from you.
I love all of what you say. It's such a great things about lifelong learning, the growth mindset that we learn every single time. So let's come and talk about Mother's Day, right? This month we have our Mother's Day, and this is the time that we want to remember and cherish all the mothers in this world, the sacrifices, the love that you're all pouring into the world and make all these things possible. So I as a nutrition coach, then I found that a lot of mom outside that while they are taking care of their family, that include the spouse, the kid, the elderly, and then taking care of the career, professional, and then they always forgot about they themselves. So, Siew Yean, can you share with us, like, what is your daily self-care routine that help you to take care of others? Because I always believe you can't take care of other people if you are drained off. Like, if we are burned out, we don't have no more energy. How am I going to take care of other people, right? So share with us.
Okay, it's a very simple thing. For me, it's like exercise. Exercise.
Your answer.
Yeah, exercise. I mean, for me, is that I try to maintain at least 3 times of exercise a week. So when my children were young that time, I mean, okay lah, I'm also a driver, a chauffeur as usual lah, right? As a mom, you chauffeur them to school. So what happens is that after I drop them in school, whereby you have that small little few hours of time, right? I will go and do my exercise. So last time what I used to do is that sometimes I join some classes. Of course, it has to be in the morning because the children's school is in the morning. And sometimes I will actually do some walk in some of the park, whereby I love to be in the nature, walking in the nature, because being in the nature and walking in the nature, it really refresh my mind. And when you're doing it alone, there's so many things in your mind that you could actually let go, or when there are times whereby you need some creative ideas, that as you walk, in the nature, sometimes it gives you a fresh perspective of things, all these things. So that is what I love. And there are times whereby I will actually go to the gym. Last time I used to swim. Now I stopped swimming. So these are the things that I do lah. Okay, and I'm not sure, because I know that sometimes exercise is not everybody's cup of tea, but personally that is what works for me. And I think it's good because exercise is something that you have to keep doing it, regardless of your age. Yeah.
So much important for our health. Whether it is like what you say, regardless of our age. It's just our health. And when we sweat, we detox as well. All this is so. When you talk about nature, you go for a walk, for a jog. I think Gideon can relate to you with you so much. He loves to go to
Yeah. I also like nature a lot. That's why I like make sure I'm jogging 2 times per day.
Okay, 2 times per day. That's
2 times per day, morning and evening. And you see the nature, and then as you say, you can let go of everything. And then it's just
that is super early. Come on.
But do you do hiking?
Yeah, not so much nowadays. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The weather so unpredictable.
Yeah.
The walk he did in the early morning, that is super early. That is really 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. I always think that people who like jogging, they also like nature, usually. because you tend to see a lot of nature.
For me, it's that I love hiking, because I mean, hiking is the time whereby you go into the forest area and then you can start to see and observe a lot of creatures and nature.
Creatures. Yeah.
And I scared snake. Oh, when I go hiking, small snake come out. Oh, I don't know. I will run away. I just feel like the small little insect is still okay, but I'm allergic to insect. That's why when it comes to nature, I'm not very into it. I know the healing power of nature, the mother nature to us. The thing is, like, I'm naturally allergic the skin to all types of insects. I nearly die because of the allergic from the insect. So that's my bad experience. Then I know that, okay, I need to really protect myself. But sometimes I try with my own house, the small little garden that I have, that is already very healing. Yeah.
Sure.
So I think we will have one more question before we close it up.
Sure.
Oh, the last one. I just want to be like, still want to ask about the supportive network, to be like more practical, like for professional women, if they choose to stay in career and while still be a mother. Maybe Siew Yean, you can give us maybe in an Asian context or even in Malaysia, what are the few platform, organization, or things that the women can engage with?
Okay, if you're talking about the so-called official platform, frankly speaking, during my time, there isn't that many. I can't even recall, 10 over years ago. But then right now it's really coming up, and I'm glad that there are so many that is in place. Of course, in my first year, first 1 or 2 years after I quit, that's where the woman business comes in, right? So I actually decided to join them, because being a full-time housewife, doing your own thing online, you need to have the social interaction as well to be mentally stimulated and also it's good to do the networking. So that's how I actually joined the women business. And I do come to understand that right now there's a lot of MNCs whereby they do actually set up some groups to support the women employees in their own working place. So I think those are a good platform that they can actually embark on. But personally for myself, frankly speaking, I'm more geared towards the Singapore side. So right now, actually last year I just joined another organization in Singapore called Tech Ladies. I know they have a chapter in Penang, but I'm not sure about who are the people in Penang here. So I joined the one in Singapore, whereby this is a volunteer group whereby we help ladies who want to get embarked into the IT industry, because as I believe Gideon will know that you don't actually have a lot of ladies in the IT industry, but that was in the past. I'm not sure about now. So this is where we help ladies in coaching, mentorship, and even we run boot camp for coding. So last year I helped them with the boot camp. So other than that, recently I come to know that there's actually another 1 or 2 more platforms, but again, these are all in Singapore. Another one was called Uncommon. I think it's a new startup whereby they provide coaching for leadership women in the corporate world. So this is a new startup that is starting in Singapore. And I also come to know there's another one called Young Woman Leadership Connection, but that is only for ladies below 35 years old. I just found out. So it depends. There's an age limit set to say that. So these are some of the platform. And of course, there's actually another one which I find that it has been very good, was Moms at Work. But that's also in Singapore, whereby it's a social enterprise whereby this lady, she set up this so-called company, and she gathered all the women. They call it mom premiers. Instead of entrepreneurs, it's mom premiers. Yeah, that means mothers who are running business. And she also have a separate subsidiary whereby I think she call Career Navigators, whereby she partner with companies, multinationals, and try to reach women who have actually quit their job after a few years to look after the children, and then they want to restart going back into the working world again, and so how to help them integrate back into the working world. So I find that these are all very meaningful platform, but they are all in Singapore, so I'm not sure how it can help
Yeah. But
ladies.
never mind. I think whoever will listen, if we don't have it, we can create it right in your country.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
Sylvian,
yeah. I
you
think that's a
also
good
create
one.
one. You
Yeah,
also
I
create
think.
one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sylvian.
I think that's a good one. Especially, I find maybe one thing lacking here is career navigators. I'm not sure about the multinationals over in Penang here, in the sense that um, when they do recruitment, whether is there a very acute shortage of staff or whatever. And then I'm sure there will be some women here whereby after they quit, they want flexi hour or they want a
Yeah.
part-time job, remote working, all these things. So probably maybe it's worthwhile to look into it. It's like how we could actually bridge this group of ladies back into the working world. If let's say they want to re-enter the working world again. Yeah.
Sylvian, I remember you shared with me personally before about the platform that you create. You call Singapore in person. Am I right?
In
Singapore
Penang,
in
right?
Penang.
In
In
Penang.
Penang. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is something. Can you share with us before we go?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. How this group comes about was that what happens that being a Singaporean woman in Penang. I mean, I came over to Penang in the year December 26, 1996. I always remember this date. So I started working. So I have no so-called network outside of my working life. It was only after I quit the job, and then I start to get to know people, all this thing. So somehow I realized that, hey, we're sure that there should be some people who is in the same situation as I am. So we start to look around, and I come to know about this friend of mine. Actually, it is through people that I know from Women Business who connect us, So Josephine Tay, her name. So what happened was that we get together. I mean, we are still very close friends. So we'll actually brainstorming and say, there should be other people that is in a similar situation as us. So we start getting, or so-called through our word of mouth, that kind of thing, get to know more and more women who are Singaporean, but they are married here because the husband is a local. So it starts to grow. And then we say, hey, why not we just form a group casually? So then we decided, okay, a few of us, we stick together and say, okay, we just call ourselves Singaporean Penang. So we start to identify ourselves as such. And we are still scouting around. If there's any woman, Singapore woman, who's keen to join us, just let us know, and then we'll actually put them in. So we actually have this WhatsApp group whereby we get together, we chit chat, we share information that's very relevant for such women, especially challenges like the government authority, like immigration. Okay. And then like what are some of the development and news in Singapore that may impact us or our family. So what are the frustrations that sometimes we encounter? And so when we start sharing, we realize that, hey, some other ladies, they may already have gone through similar experience. So they may be able to give us advice or share with us their experience, so that at least we know how to maneuver certain situations that we are in. And of course, we like to have fun. So this actually, next Thursday, we're going to have a hike to Emperor Villa to explore the place, because a few of them has never been there before. So we try to have so-called a social network that we could actually support one another. So this is one form of supporting network that we have.
So glad that you create one, because sometimes we cannot find the one suitable in our own community. We go and create one. That's what I really love about you, how you can really group people together. And for those people that are interested, how they can contact you.
Okay, we have actually got a website. Not website. It's a page in the Facebook, or you could actually contact me. I'm not sure whether is it appropriate for me to actually put it up here. You can actually find me in the Facebook. Just give me a PM, and then I could actually link you up. Basically, we are more active on the WhatsApp rather than in the Facebook itself. Yeah.
I will get your Facebook page, the link from you, that I will include in the comment section below. So anyone, they can check it out.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Siew Yean. for
No
all your
problem.
golden insights. That all the audience right now that you listen to this episode, what is the one thing you see? Sirian give you so many great nuggets. What is the one thing that you feel like is most resonate with you and you definitely want to take action right now? And let us know in the comment section below and see you in the next episode.